Life is a lot easier than it seems. That's why it's fitting that I'm just laying here enjoying myself and being at ease. Life is won when you're at ease. Tryhards never win in the long run. It's almost better if you don't care if you win. You win if you don't care if you win. But you put in all the work like you care if you win. But mentally, it's the opposite. I always say the physical world is the opposite of the mental world. And the mental world is honestly more important than the physical world because it all starts from the mental world. But on the other hand, yeah, you gotta, once the mental world is figured out, you gotta then physically do the work. But it's not, we always do it the backwards way. We start with the physical world and try to have the mental world fall into place from the physical world. Like, say, we don't know what we want to do, so we just jump out there and get a job, and we're just moving forward. And I guess, well, of course you have to get a job, but you know what I mean? Like, we think, okay, this is what'll make me money. This is what my parents want me to do. This is what fits good on paper. But then, so then you just jump in there and then hope that you're going to like it or force yourself to like it. It doesn't work. You have to start with yourself. You have to know yourself. Life isn't that hard if you know yourself, at least as much as you can. And honestly, for me, it was just being in silence and meditating. But like I've said before, before I knew how to meditate, I just sat in silence for 8 months. And I'm not going to say this is going to work for you, but my life got increasingly better and better after I did that. Things started to fall into place, including financially, but I can't, obviously we're all different, and from a Buddhist perspective, we all have different karma, but I will say that I had this instinct of, basically, you can't fill a cup with anything that's already, when it's already full. But our cups are full of just crap. That's what's funny. It's like our our cup is full of piss because we're just afraid that we can't get anything better, so we don't empty it, and the universe can't give you anything better because your cup is full. So I don't know, intuitively I knew I just had to keep letting go, undoing, not doing, literally, like sitting in silence, and slowly unraveling, undoing everything, myself, my energy body, my karma, my life, my mind, my heart, undoing. So all I'm doing is emptying my cup. That's how you manifest. You can't manifest when your cup is full and it's full of crap. Anyways, if your cup is already full of great stuff, well, then you're already manifesting great stuff. But you gotta empty your cup, undoing, okay? And then everything else will fall into place. Things will fall into your cup that are better than whatever you had. At least give the universe or God or whatever an opportunity to give you something better. Stop holding on so hard to whatever meager crumbs you have. You have to let go. It's like, here's another obvious example. If your phone is full of just a bunch of horrible videos and pictures that you don't like, well, how are you going to get anything good photos that are potentially better? But you're so worried that your new photos aren't going to be any better, so you don't delete any of your old photos and videos. Just sounds stupid, right? You have to delete what you have to get a chance, at least, of something better. And in a weird way, the more you do that, it just gets better and better and better. That's why my mantra of, if anything, it's always been about undoing, not doing, undoing. Undoing is how you make your life better. Undoing is how you make yourself more at peace. Undoing is how you find yourself and find fulfillment. And then find your mission in life. Everything, just everything falls into place. But it's the opposite of what we're taught. So, I mean, unless your life is really good, what else do you have in mind? You can't keep doing what you're doing, being frustrated and trying to add, and trying to just get things to work out, and they never do, right? So try something else. Subtract. One more thing is, so I talked about undoing, but there's also this concept of not doing. That's what meditation and mindfulness is. In a way, it's kind of not doing, you're mentally not doing. You're not adding to your brain thoughts, feelings in your body. And of course, technically that's impossible, but I mean, that's just to show you what it's training for, okay? Now, I have to add this just to throw it in. I've said that if you're aware of thinking when you're meditating or being mindful and getting distracted, but catching yourself being distracted, that's really good, okay? So don't think mindfulness and meditation is about having this peaceful state where you're just sitting there like this perfect, thoughtless, feelingless being. That's not what's what's going to happen. At least at first, you're just want to be aware of the things going on in your mind and your feelings and your body and everything. And then sometimes you'll get distracted from, say, being focused on your breath, and then you catch yourself, and that's great if you catch yourself in the act of being distracted. And then eventually, and okay, if you don't want to do that, well, okay, at least I can explain this. Well, the whole point is then you take that into your everyday life and you do things without doing things in your mind. You pick up a pen without thinking pen, and you're writing and you're not, you know what I mean? You're not analyzing everything. You're not doing. So that's what, in Taoism and Buddhism, they talk about non-doing, or non-meditation, or Wu Wei, it's the way of not doing. And that's what they mean. So you're going about your day without the brain churning all the time, analyzing, labeling everything, judging everything. And then so that's where, and the reason I have to explain all this is because so that when you're in a state of not doing, you're doing things and you use your brain when you have to. Should I make a left or should I make a right? Like, you make decisions, of course, but other than decisions you have to make, you don't use your brain so much. You use it as little as possible. And all of those default thoughts and feelings that constantly come up aren't there as much. You tame your mind. And if you do that, I feel like then you can manifest more, because again, your mind, when you're not doing so much, your mind isn't so busy, it's not so full. And then maybe you're using, I don't know if this is true, but maybe you're using more of your mind for other things. Just the fact that the mind is less occupied, it's maybe sending out transmissions that are more powerful, for instance, of you getting what you want. So, not doing, being in a state of not doing, by again, by default, it's not, it's not, you have to just train and get to that level, or at least in everyday life, think about that and just try to be like that over a period of years and years and years without the meditating. But, I did it through the meditating. So, but you could do however you want, maybe running, you can train in that, being mindful when you run, and then you can take that into your everyday life. And maybe that means that other things happen in your life because your brain is transmitting things, and maybe you're more single pointed and it's more powerful for manifesting. I don't know. And I don't do manifesting practices. I just know that when I was not doing with so much with my brain, other things fell in place in my life. And that's one possible reason. Not to mention, I'm suffering less. I feel more peace. And I'm more intuitive. I know directions of what to do. So there you go. Peace.